Alright everybody, this is the start of part 1 on the Halloween group build. This is Monday afternoon, about 4, August 26th. I had the day off and I just primered up the mummy with the Badger primer. And he turned out pretty cool. I'll look at him real good here and see if I need to do any touch-ups. But that Badger primer always does a good job, and I wanted to show everybody that he turned out pretty good. So I have to work the rest of the week out, the next 4 days, and then I got the holiday weekend off, and then I have to work Labor Day. But I'll let this sit for the next 4 days before I can get back on the mummy for the Halloween group build. And then I also primered up the pedestal with the Badger primer, and I'm going to use this Badger it's light flesh. I used it on the girls last year. I bought 2 bottles of this, and I got more than enough for a lot of figure kits that I have in stock. It's good stuff. I'll do his face up in light flesh, and then I'll start using the oils on the mummy when I get to that point. And then for the pedestal, I picked this desert sand up at the model shop around the corner from where I live, about the only one left. And on the label it says it's a slightly gritty paste of acrylic resin, and then you can shape it and form it any way you like. You can either use a paintbrush or where did it say, a spatula. So I'll figure that out when I get around to doing the pedestal. But I'm not going to go fancy with it. I think this desert sand is going to make it look really cool. And that's probably all I'll do for the pedestal stand for the mummy. And I don't know, I might try to use a little bit of that desert sand on the mummy. I'll see when I get to that, because I'll probably be using more oils than anything else. But I'll see when I get to that point. But I figured I'd give everybody quick update on part 1 on the mummy for the Halloween group build, and I'll pause for now and I'll talk with everybody later. Alright everybody, this is the holiday weekend. This is August 31st. I have the weekend off. I have to work Monday night, Labor Day, so it's no big thing. I'll be able to focus on the Sci-Fi Fantasy Halloween group build. I got the mummy on my workbench, and I primered it up, washed it up and primered it up last Monday. I had that day off, and just to get it ready for this weekend. I should knock out a lot this weekend. I'll probably work on a pedestal stand and get that out of the way, and probably work on the face of the mummy. I got everything on my workbench, where I'm going to show what I'm going to use with oils and paints. Also have a picture on my smartphone of the bust completely finished by, I don't know if the guy that sculpted painted it. It looks pretty cool. Mine's going to be close to what that picture looks like. It's not going to be spot on, because everybody does their kits and busts the way they like to do it, with paints and oils and all that, and what I'm trying to spit out there. So let me go ahead and turn the camera around and show everybody what I'm going to work on with the bust for the mummy, paints and oils. So let me go ahead and turn the camera around. Okay. Well, let's get with the picture first on my smartphone. It looks pretty awesome. And with the base, Looks like they use some type of kind of like sand color to that, and it's got a few different shades of colors on it, but I'll see when I get around to doing that part. I'm thinking I'm just going to go with the sand, but he looks pretty cool. I thought that looked pretty awesome. For the stand, the pedestal stand that the mummy's on, you can see here like I said, I primered them all up Monday with Badger primer. I just got to tape this area off down here below his neckline, get that all covered up with some tape so I can focus on his face and his head. But with the stand, shouldn't go too long. I got this desert sand here I picked up a while ago. I picked this up basically for some dioramas if I get around to doing that, like with a tank or maybe a sci-fi kit. But that's what I'm going to use for the pedestal stand. For his complexion, to start out with, I have the Badger. This is Light Flesh. I used this on the girls first last year, and it worked out fine. So I'll use that for like a base coat for his face. And then from Garage Kits, I have the Age Bone. I may try that out on his face. And then I also had the Gravestone Gray. I think I used this on Lily Munster. It turned out pretty good. And then for the oils that I have here, I have Faded Flesh, and then I have see what this one is. This is Dead Flesh. More likely I will use a lot of this on his face. And then this one here is Ghost Gray, and I think I also use that on Lily Munster. So that's what I've got on my bench today. I'm going to go ahead and focus on getting the pedestal stand done with the sand. I thought of maybe using one of these first as a base coat, like maybe the Gravestone Gray. I don't know. I'll figure it out when I get around to it. But if not, I'll see how this looks like when I open it up. I may just apply that onto the pedestal stand, and then I'll let it dry and see what it looks like. But that's what I got going on my bench today. I'll be focusing on the Sci-Fi Fantasy Halloween group build with the mummy. Like I said, on the pedestal, he's probably about 6 inches tall. He's not a very big bust. Still looks cool. But I got the paints out. I got my oils out. So I'm going to go ahead and pause. I've taken pictures of this for every step. I took pictures of it last week before it was primered. And once I get the pedestal stand done and maybe his face with the Light Flesh, I'll probably go ahead and take pictures of that. I may even set the camera up in my spray booth to at least show painting up the mummy. But I'm rambling on, so I'm going to go ahead and pause for now, and I'll talk with everybody later. Alright everybody, I just opened this desert sand up, and you can see on the inside here it does look like a paste. So I may try to use an old paintbrush, but I've got this down here that I could probably pull out. And I may start out with, let me see what I got here. I've got, I might use something like this, or this tool here. Let me go ahead and maybe try this tool right here, and I'll try the top part of the pedestal and just paste it on there. Let me get that out of the way so everybody can see. It's going on nice and smooth. Bring this down here so I can see what I'm doing. Hopefully that's all in frame. It's not as chunky as I thought it would be, which is good. When I get down in this area, it might be a little bit of a challenge, but maybe I can just film a little bit of this so everybody can get an idea. It is resin based, so when it dries it should look pretty good. Don't want to bore everybody with this. Hopefully that's all on camera there. I did, like I said, pick this up for some dioramas I'm thinking of down the road. Military, of course, maybe some sci-fi kits that I have. Star Wars, of course. And I don't want this pedestal stand to look spot on perfect. I mean, want it to be a little rugged. It's looking pretty good. Get the side here. Hopefully that'll be picked. Camera will pick that up. Of course, since you're doing a mummy, like I'm doing this mummy bust, you know, mummies do come from the desert. And I figured why not do this base or pedestal stand in a desert type sand look to it. Like I said, hopefully this is all on camera here. Far so good. It's looking pretty good, I think. Get a little bit more on here. afraid of that. Alright, I ain't got the camera on the best stand. So let me go ahead and pause and fix this up, and I'll be right back. Alright everybody, I'm back. I think I solved the problem with the stand for my camera. I got it on something better. I'm going to use an old brush here, and I'm going to finish up this part here all the way around with this, with the sand here, and just brush it on. You can see here it's going on a lot better. I want that roughness on it a little bit, because it is sand. I know it's supposed to be somewhat smooth, but I think using this brush here, I won't have to use as much. It's going to cover a lot better. You can see here, hopefully that's all in frame. I do want to stretch this out. Like I said, I got plans for this, some dioramas maybe down the road. I got some military kits, but it's looking pretty good. I want it rough in some areas, as you can see is the way I'm applying it with the brush. And I'll hit this with a dull coat probably tomorrow, depending on, it should be ready for that by tomorrow, once I get this all on. I'll see what I can use to clean up this brush. Maybe some lacquer thinner. I'm not going to worry about if the brush, if I'm ruining it. It's just a paintbrush. So I didn't pay a lot for it. And like I said, hopefully that's all caught on camera. I'll finish this up here in a minute. I like how this stuff works too. That's one thing I didn't want to do, is go overboard with the pedestal stand for the mummy. Since he does come from the desert, I wanted to have at least the base look like sand. And I'm glad I bought this stuff, because it's really looking pretty good. A little bit more right here, and then I'll finish the rest up off camera. Alright guys, there you have it. I think it turned out pretty good. I'll see if it needs any touch-ups, like in some areas off camera. But I like how it's looking rough on top there. So with the mummy, let's make sure I ain't got nothing on my hands. Once he's on the stand here, let me see if I can put him on there. He's gonna look pretty good. Hopefully that's in frame. That's about how he's gonna look when he's all done with that sand look for the pedestal stand. So let me go ahead and pause, finish this up off camera, and I'll talk with everybody later. Alright everybody, another look at the base or pedestal. I like how it turned out with that sand. I wanted it to have that little bit of a roughness to it. You can see that turned out really good. On this pedestal, for some reason, they've got their name on it, and I cleaned that up with a Q-tip and a little bit of lacquer thinner. Now I'll probably highlight that with some oil or something. I'll figure that out when I get to it. I'll finish that up today. I don't know if I'm going to do any more to it, you know, highlight it or anything like that, or do any shading to it. I don't know. I wanted this to be simple and easy for the pedestal stand. Give it that sand look, and it looks pretty good. I like it. And I do have black oil paint right here. It's black. Number is ABT 110, and I'm going to use that on the mummy's around his eyes when I get to using the oils. So I got everything I need to get that started. I'll probably get this set up today. If I can get this with the light flesh on him today, then I can take it to the next step tomorrow. Maybe get down in this area. We'll see. Since this is the last weekend of August, I got about a little less than 2 months to finish this up for the Sci-Fi Fantasy group build. But I wanted to focus more on the stand today and maybe on the mummy. So I'm going to go ahead and continue working on off camera on the stand, and I'll talk with everybody later. Alright everybody, I got the mummy in my spray booth. I've got the light flesh mixed up in my airbrush, so I'm going to go ahead and cover him with the light flesh. Get that out of the way. Go ahead and get started here. Hopefully this will be all in frame. Well, hopefully that was all in frame. Looking pretty good with that light flesh. I'll go over them a little bit more, and then I'll pause the camera and finish them up. Alright everybody, it's looking really good. I'll go ahead and pause the camera, finish this up, and I'll talk with everybody later. Alright everybody, here's another look at the mummy with that light flesh. Turned out really good. I took off the tape. Everybody can get a better look at him. So I'll let him sit overnight and cure. But that light flesh turned out really nice. You can see here. Very good. My next step will be using those oils. And I'll probably use the oils on the this part of the mummy here, the stitching and the wrapping or whatever you want to call that on the mummy. I'm got a brain fart right now, but you know how they mummify them, how they wrap them up with that cloth. But I'll use the oils on that. I don't know if I'm going to go ahead and use any paint. I don't know. I'll see when I get to that part. My main concern was his face today and the base. You can see here. Turned out good. Let everybody get a look at it here. I know the lighting is not the best. But he turned out pretty good. Like I said, this kit, the bust won't take me too long to do, which that's what I like. That's why it's hard for me to get into a group build, because it's just it takes time to work on whatever you're working on for the type of group build. I figured if I at least do one bust this year, I'll have the time to do it and enter the group build. So I'm going to go ahead and call this a wrap for part 1 on the Sci-Fi Annecy 2019 Halloween group build. I'd like to thank all my YouTube subscribers. I'd like to thank everybody for watching. More on the mummy, and I'll talk with everybody later.